Beverley Ramsey-Moore joins us this morning, of course, recipient of the Hummingbird Medal Gold for Culture and the Arts and the first female president of Trinidad Tobago. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning to Trinidad and Tobago.
Well, thank you so much for joining us this morning. And before we get into any conversation, congratulations to you and thank you for your continued service to our Twin Island Republic.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So let's start with your journey to now, Ms. Ramsey-Moore. Can you share with us just some key insights into what brought you to where you are today?
All right. So I have been a community activist, and I'm still a community activist in my early years in the community of Black Rock. And because of the work that I did with young people as a youth mentor and also as the leader of the Black Rock Progressive Youth Organization, also serving in the village council, that propelled me to being asked to contest a seat in the Tobago House of Assembly. So at the tender age, I can say, of 32, I was elected to the Tobago House of Assembly. And at that time, I was at least 8 months pregnant, having a baby. I think I'm one of the first women to be contesting an election at 8 months pregnant. And I won that seat for Black Rock Women in 1992. And there I served Tobago well as Secretary for Community Development and Culture. I also served as Assistant Secretary for Sport and Youth Affairs. So I spent 2 terms in the Tobago House of Assembly, and I worked my tail off, you can say, being one of those persons who contributed to the development of we women, to the development of youth, and to community development. Immediately after that, I, of course, came from a steel pan family, the Ramsey family of Black Rock, and because I was out of the THA and had a lot of time on my hand, I was asked to make a contribution in the steel band. And so I took Cats and Jammers as the manager from a little band after they were formed in 1952. And eventually they came down to just a stage side, just doing hotel gigs. And as I took that band over, the transformative process started, where we are now an institution in the village of Black Rock. And everybody should know Cats and Jammers would have done a lot in terms of competitions and in terms of structure, where we not only function just as a steel band, as I mentioned before, but as an institution, where we have several businesses in our operations, and we provided training for a number of young people. We pay a tutor to do all of that. And when I started in Trinidad Tobago, as you know, elected the first female president of Trinidad Tobago, I took an organization from $0 and 0 cents and built it to a respectable organization where the corporate Trinidad and Tobago would have left us, where the government would have lost confidence in us. And through the team that I had in 2018, we rebuilt this organization to a world-class organization. And as you know, Trinidad Tobago is now being recognized all over the world. It was only in Pan Month I received 7 international awards during the month of August. And of course, Trinidad and Tobago has now shown me that they appreciated the work that I have done. And so that led up, of course, to me receiving the Hummingbird Gold.
Now, let's talk about that, Ms. Ramsey-Moore, that global recognition that we've seen, of course, for Steel Pan and also for Pan Trin Tobago. What are your thoughts on that?
Of course, I am so elated because going to Florida and also to New York, and all these awards being given to me as a trailblazer and as a leader taking care of our young people and for pushing the culture abroad. That is amazing. And not only for me, but for the organization that I lead. Pan Trin Tobago now is being recognized all over the world, basically by what we have been doing, our mantra of no season for pan. As you know, there's several things that we've been able to accomplish. One, World Steel Pan Day. That is something that we acquired under my leadership. Also, pan being proclaimed by law in the Parliament of Trinidad and Tobago, and we know within recent time we would have obtained the geographical indication for pan. So it's not just about the entertainment bucket alone, but it is the holistic development using pan as a vehicle for social transformation. So the work that we have been doing, placing pan at a different level, I think the world is taking notice, and we can even see it reflected even in the various panoramas throughout the world, where you see a number of people coming back in the space. And for that, I think that pan is now all about that global ascendancy, and we are going to just continue going further and further.
Now, as we speak about going further and further, what is your vision for Steel Pan for the future, Ms. Ramsey-Moore?
Well, we are focusing heavily on the development of the industry. It is very, very important, and especially now that we have that intellectual property protection for the steel pan through the geographical indication, where Trinidad and Tobago is known throughout the world as the birthplace of pan. And so as we focus on the industry, one, in job creation, in terms of the producers and the amount of work now that will be available as we try to get pan out there in the various international markets, our contribution with respect to bringing in foreign exchange to our country, a wider development of the entertainment industry itself. You know, a number of persons coming here for Carnival, and they come a bit earlier because of the no season for pan, where we start Panorama from November, allowing persons to come much more and spend a longer time from November into December and then into Carnival. Immediately after that, we do not only pause there, but we continue with our festivals. And then we continue, of course, moving along with Steel Pan Month. As you notice, even Pan and Powder is now a massive event where a number of persons are coming home. So we focus on the industry and we broaden the scope for the development. And that is what we are doing now. And I think we are on a good track.
Definitely on a good track there, Ms. Ramsey-Moore. Now, let's go back to you, of course, featuring you this morning as the recipient of the Hummingbird Medal Gold. You really shared a touching story with us of how you started at the THE, 32 years old, going in, contesting, but also, of course, being pregnant as well. When you hear stories like this, they are very inspirational to women. When you started then to now, did you see yourself where you are today effecting so much change?
Not at all. Not at all. I mean, I went in full of passion as a young person, leaning on the strengths of people like Irene Beach, Annette Alfred, George Leacock, Neville Benoit. So I was at a learning stage with a number of public servants guiding me along the way, you know, and full of passion, full of youth, because I also served on the Tobago Basketball Commission, heavily managing 2 basketball teams, 2 netball teams in my community, being involved in village council, and at the same time operating my own small business. So here it is. I mean, I was working extremely hard, pouring out. I remember at one time I collapsed. And when I was taken to the hospital, the doctor said, Mrs. Ramsey-Moore, you need to take it easy. It's just exhaustion. Because I'm representing all these communities and focusing heavily on my own community, youth development. So I gave of myself. And I mean, I want to thank my family, my husband, who has been so supportive. I remember the first loan my husband took at his Tateco Credit Union, because he works at TNTech, and it was to buy sneakers for a group of young girls in my village. So I am that kind of person, always giving, always sharing, you know. If I can really, really help somebody as I go along, then my living shall not be in vain. And that has been my mantra.
And we definitely, of course, have seen that manifest to where you are today. Do you have any words of wisdom for the younger generation who are looking on right now and would like to be able to make those strides as you have done, but aren't really too sure where to start?
one thing that they must always think about, service to mankind is service to God. And as long as you want to make that commitment, you give it your all. Get involved in your social activities in your community, your social organizations. Get involved in this, join a steel band. The steel band will make sure you are there not only for the music, but also to socialize with the young, the old. We say pan is intergenerational, and as long as you get into that safe and sacred space, there is so much that you can do. The Panyard model, as was enunciated by the head of state, our president, is a model that transforms lives. And I want to encourage young people, give up your best, get involved in an institution, whether it's a youth group, whether it's a village council, whether it's a church group, get involved and give back. Give some of your time, give up some of your talent, because that is all that is required for nation building.
Definitely. Ms. Ramsey-Moore, before we close our conversation this morning, do you have any closing comments for Trinidad and Tobago?
Trinidad and Tobago, I want to tell you thanks for appreciating me. I felt deeply honored, deeply grateful walking across that stage and, having that medal pinned on your clothes. I mean, that was indeed a big moment. And I want to give God thanks and praise for blessing me with the skills and the talent that I have to impact on life. And so you go forward, you do what you have to do, and let us stand strong towards building our nation. Trinidad and Tobago is a great place to live in. And so let's do our part to continue that positive impact on our nation.
Thank you very much, Ms. Ramsey-Moore, and congratulations again. Have a good day.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Beverley Ramsey-Moore, President of Pan Trinbago and recipient of the Hummingbird Medal Gold, joining us this morning to share some of her story and her vision for the future. Stay tuned. Tobago Thursdays are going to be back after this break.